All right. Well, again, welcome to Npower. Npower is a nonprofit organization. It's a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And does anybody here know what the mission of Npower is?
Give us a job.
To get you a job? Okay.
No, it's cute.
Quick and easy, huh? Yeah. It is the mission of this organization to create pathways for careers, for people who are veterans or families of veterans and young adults. Here in Alameda, we kind of expanding that, right? There's some folks that don't necessarily fall within those categories, but we've accepted those individuals into the program as well. Because we're working a different angle. But what's really important here, and I want you to start thinking about this over the next few days, is that there is a great value in so many ways about this program. Not just a monetary value, which is important, because I'm telling you, I'm enrolled in a degree program, and they charged me $3,500 per semester, to take courses, right? And so, if you go to Splunk right now and you look at the courses that you're supposed to take, that you're gonna be taking through Npower, they're, one is like $2,500, the other one is $500, the other one is $1,500, right? So as Pedro mentioned, and I want to bring this back, what Pedro mentioned, because earlier, because we pride ourselves in saying that this program is free. Well, it's free to you, but only because it's free to you does not mean that there isn't a value in what is being brought forth by this organization. And that's important, right? That's, in fact, one of the topics that we're going to be talking about as part of our learning objectives. And one is value creation. What is value in reality? Okay? Who establishes what value is? And I say this because I want you to digest the magnitude of the value that this program brings to the community, to you, okay? And I don't want you to think, oh, well, I didn't even spend any money anyways, so I'm just going to walk out. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay, so I want you to walk out of here acknowledging that what we're doing here, all this support. I mean, you can take many classes here in the college and you don't get all this type of support, right? And I'm telling you, I've seen people go through college, and then when they get, okay, I got my degree, I'm getting ready to go to work, you go to the job placement office and there's nobody there. Or they're just sitting there, they go, oh, well, there's a computer over there, just go to Craigslist and look for work on your own. There's no real support. But what we're bringing here is a lot of manpower. A lot of manpower to support your success. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Yes. By the way, there are various types of communication. Various types of communication. Different communication types. But I want to talk about 3, maybe 4 of them today, in order to establish how we're going to run business as we move forward in the next few weeks. These guys pay me to talk, do a lot of talking, okay? Your job is to take notes and to make sure that you have clarity in what's being given to you. If there is no clarity, then I'm going to need you to engage. Okay, and ask questions. There's no question that's outside the realm of of the possibilities to be asked. You can ask anything that's related to the material, okay? Don't ask me where babies come from, because I can't elaborate on that in this particular class. It's beyond the scope of this class, but if it has to do with this material, then yes, I can. Now, my lecturing style is that I try to use certain specifics as far as protocols are concerned. What is a protocol?
Set of rules.
A set of rules that what? Come on, help him out. That what? Okay, a standard is a standard. A protocol is a protocol. There's two different definitions there. Okay. See, he's cheating because he was here last semester. Yeah. Yeah. So again, it's a set of rules that two or more entities use for communication. That is the technical definition of a protocol. Okay, is a set of rules that we agreed upon. Two individuals. We have an agreement that we're going to communicate. We have explicit protocols, which some of them were mentioned by Pedro when he went over the student handbook, okay? And those are very explicit protocols. There are other protocols that are unexplicit. So, for example, our protocol here, even though we didn't say it, in this classroom, one of the unexplicit protocols is that we are going to use the English language as the primary language to communicate, okay? That's a protocol. Another protocol is that we're not going to scream at each other, right? That's a breaking protocol, right? If you're screaming at me, like, what's up, right? Do we need to go to the parking lot or what? You know, so we're not going to use foul language to address each other, right? Those are kind of rules that we understand, right? And there's other rules. It's just protocols are all over the place, right? You guys came here and you sat in those chairs. Just naturally, you know by instinct that you need to sit on those chairs because you're the student. And Pedro and Victor stood right here because they're the presenters. You see how that works? Right? They didn't go sit over there and try to speak to you while they're sitting in the classroom. So a protocol is a set of rules that two or more entities use for communication. And so it's my experience that in the classroom we have to have protocols in order to ensure the fluency of the delivery of the concepts, some of them really complex concepts, and some of them really simple concepts that are hard to understand, right? And so we need protocols. In order for us to define how we're going to go about this business, I think it's important to understand that there are three types of communications that I need to talk to you about today real quick. One of them is uniplex. Uniplex is a type of communication that only travels one direction. Uniplex. I'll try not to do too much bore. I've been working on my PowerPoint presentations, even for little things like this, because I write like a doctor. You know how doctors, when they write the prescription, you can't really understand what it says, right? I mean, I don't know how the people in the pharmacy understand, but they understand. And sometimes I write like a doctor. You can't really understand what I'm writing. But most of the stuff, it's on the PowerPoint. In any case, uniplex is a type of communication that only travels one direction. Like when you're in the ballpark and the announcer says, well, the next runner-up, the next batter is such and such. Okay, you can't talk back to the person who's talking, right? And even if you do, they're not going to hear you because the information only travels one direction. That's uniplex. That's what you do to your kids, right? You go, listen. No, don't say nothing. I'm not listening. You're going to listen to me, right? Then there's half duplex. Communication can travel both directions, but only one direction at a time. Does that make sense? Half duplex. A perfect example of a half duplex is those Nextel phones, remember, before they got bought off by Verizon? The Nextel phones, or a walkie-talkie, right? You press on the button, and the other person has to listen to you. While you have that button pressed, the communication can only travel that direction. But once you let go of that button, and the other person presses the button on the other end, then the communication can travel this direction. But it doesn't travel at the same time, though. This is a good methodology. If you're having problems with your partner, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, get a couple of walkie-talkies, okay? And send it, because he or she not listening to you, right? What do? You send him or her to the garage, and you stay in the room, and you press that button, and that person on the other end is going to have to hear you until you're done talking. They cannot interrupt you. Really? Yeah, and then when you're done, you let go of that button, and then the other person, you're going to have to listen to everything that person has to say. You see how that works? You cannot have, when the two people press the button at the same time, there's a loud beep. Beep, right? You can't talk because you're breaking the rule of engagement, the protocol. Does that make sense? And then there is full duplex. Full duplex travels both directions at the same time. So a regular phone, like your cell phone, utilizes full duplex type of communication, right? If you're talking to your husband or your wife on the phone, you guys can scream at each other at the same time. You're not understanding what she's saying. She's not understanding what you're saying. It's crazy, right? It could be very chaotic if you're trying to work with full duplex. So the type of communication that we're going to use here, since we're going to be together for such a long time, 8 very beautiful weeks. Half duplex is the type of communication that we're going to use. What does that mean? That means that if I'm speaking, okay, and we're using half duplex, can somebody interrupt me?
No.
No, you can't interrupt me, right? In the same way, if you're talking, right, we're gonna make a professional effort to allow you to finish saying everything that you have to say, okay? I say that because if you're out of line, then we need to stop you. Okay, but in any case, half duplex. The way this works in the classroom is that I will lecture, I will start talking about a concept, I will give you the information. It may be that you have a question, right? Maybe, what's your name over there? Okay, Steve, what's your name over here, the lady in front of Steve? Huh? Evelita. Okay, I think I just messed that up, but in any case, let's say she has a question. When I'm lecturing, I can't stop, because if I stop, then I'm going to forget what I was talking about. That happens, by the way. And when that happens, I'm going to be like, wait, what was I talking about? Remind me, what was I talking about? If you were paying attention, you should be able to help me get back on track. But now, I'm not going to stop lecturing, because if I stop, I'm going to lose my train of thought. And so what I'm going to do is you're going to raise your hand that you have a question, and I'm just going to acknowledge you that you have a question. I'm going to give you a hand gesture saying, okay, I got you. Okay, I got you. But I'm going to continue to lecture. Then maybe this gentleman, what's your name? Jeff. Jeff has a question, raises his hand. Okay, hey, wait a second, I have a question about that. Okay, I'm going to give a hand gesture to Jeff, right? Can I come over here? What's your name, sir? James. James, man, the J's, huh? Okay. James has a question, raises his hand. I'm going to go like this. When I get to a stopping point, I'm going to go, okay, who had questions? Boom. Okay, now it's time for questions. Okay, what was your question? Well, if you didn't write your question down, you might forget it, okay? So if you see that I'm taking too long and I'm moving forward and I'm not answering your question, I'm not deliberately trying to ignore you, okay? It's just sometimes I get in the moment and I have like 6 people, who have raised their hands. And so if I do a sweep, I'm going to go, okay, you had a question. Who else had a question here? I don't remember. If I ignore you, it's not because I'm purposely trying to do it. It's not my intention. Okay? Don't feel afraid to raise your hand again. Okay? And say, hey, wait a second. You're going too far, and I still need clarification on this question. Now, the reason also why I don't stop on the lecture is because maybe the question that you have, I'm about to answer it. Okay? Within that thought that I'm delivering to you. And so when you're ready to, when I give you the time to speak, I would like everybody to pay attention to that individual, okay, and participate. Because it may be, listen, I don't know everything, despite popular belief, okay? Yeah, that was a joke. Yeah. I don't know everything, right? So it could be that maybe Nagy here has more experience in that particular topic. Or James, right? James. Steve. Or Steve over there has more experience in that particular topic, right? And so, hey, I want to hear about your experience. I'm here to learn too. This is a learning environment. It may be that nobody here knows the answer to a particular question. And so at that moment I might say, remind me your name?
Manny?
Manny. Man, you guys got me another Manny? Yeah, we had that other Manny last semester. Yeah, he was a handful. Oh man, he's gonna hear this. So maybe Manny has more experience in a particular area, right? And so he doesn't have it. So it may be that we don't know the answer to a specific question that somebody brought forth. Well, it may be that I may say, okay, Manny, you have a computer with you. Get online, do a quick research on that topic. And I may say, okay, here, you're Jeff, right? I'm really bad with names, man. So you're James. You're James. I'm going to get your names. Just hang tight. So I might say, okay, you go ahead and do the same search in your own way, okay? Or look for videos and look for images, and you look for what's in the news right now about that. So maybe I got 2 people doing a research because we don't know the answer. Okay? Once they got the information, you might say, hey, I got the information now. I'm ready to elaborate. So we'll give you the time to go ahead and elaborate on what you found. I'll give you 5 minutes to go ahead and look for the information. If it's something that's really complex, I may need to go home and, have me a couple of beers and get online and try to do the research myself. Okay, hey, this is what it is, right? The thing about working in information technology is that you don't have to know everything, and that's the problem sometimes is that people believe that because you're taking IT classes, you should know everything, right? And then they start questioning, well, what about this technology? And then blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, I'm not learning about that. Well, I thought you're taking IT classes. Yeah, but that's not, IT is so immense. I cannot possibly know everything. But it's important that you know where to find the information. That's for the real hands-on. For the exam purposes, there is stuff that you do really need to know by memory, okay? And that's going to be crucial because what happens is that I've seen people go through these courses and they have a hard time identifying the importance of learning this material and being able to elaborate about this material without looking at reference documentation. Okay, you're not going to be able to pass this first exam, the ITIL foundation exam, unless you are able to speak the language. Okay? You have to speak the language. That means that if I say, okay, what is value? What is value creation? Who drives value? Okay? You have to get to the point when you're not going like this. Okay, value is, oh, wait a second, it's not this one. Value, because you're going to go take a test and you won't have your notes. Okay? You have to get to the point where you can actually talk about the information. Okay, I got that out of the way. Another thing is I really, really appreciate if you give me eye contact. Okay? Yeah, give me eye contact. If you don't give me eye contact on a regular basis, you know, I'm looking around the classroom, I start feeling like you're not paying attention. Yeah, I'm a very emotional individual. Yeah, you have to, yeah, I'm just putting it all out there, you know. I feel things. And so I feel like you're ignoring me, right? If you're not looking at me and I'm like lecturing away and I'm giving you all this information and all this knowledge and I'm just passionate about what I'm talking about, I'm just like, whoa, on fire, and you're like, what is break time? When is break time? Those clock watchers. I've been, you know, I'm going to move that clock over there one of these days. Because, you know, I lose track of time, but people don't because they have the clock right there. Okay, so very important that you give me eye contact. And I know it gets tough because the air conditioning, the weather, maybe you didn't sleep well the night before because you were studying so hard because you have so much passion for, you know, passing this class and making your instructor proud, right? And so you come here, and next thing you know, right, Isaias, Leiva is just talking away and gets a little tiring, and then you start dozing away. Okay, see, I'm going to call you on that. I'm going to be like, hey, what's up? You're falling asleep on me, man. Like, you're hurting my feelings. Now, the other thing is, if you have a comment to make, right? If you have a comment to make, I prefer that you share it with the entire class, right? Because if I have like two people over there in the back going, hey, hey, I'm a very insecure person, and I start feeling like you're talking about me. Hey, if it's not about me, then bring it on, right? Bring it on, say it in front of everybody. Right, no reason to be over there, because see, I call those collisions, right? We're violating the half duplex, right? Because you're having your own conversation over there, and I'm here trying to give you 20 years of experience in 8 weeks, right? So we're kind of working together to get this through. You guys with me so far? Yeah, because see, I think that if we address those issues, it should be a smooth operation. You know, it is my intention to accomplish the mission of this organization by giving you all the knowledge that I can possibly give you. There are areas where I'm really strong at. There are other areas where, as Pedro mentioned, we're still in the process of learning as well because it's new software. There's many companies, by the way, right now that are new. You know, like Tanium is one of them. They do a lot of stuff similar to what Splunk is doing, also in the area of security. And so it's not new. You're going to be learning new software on a regular basis. You know, once you go out there in the field, it's not like, you know, I mean, you have experienced this. Remember when we used Microsoft Word, and it was so great, and you finally figure out how to use it, and then they changed the entire interface? Yeah. You guys remember that? Yeah. Oh, man, that was just upsetting, right? Like, okay, now, but see, that's what you have to do. You have to embrace the new software, learn it, and fly with it, okay? Become the subject matter expert. Then Salesforce came out. And they were like, oh, shoot, Salesforce, okay, we have to build a database. Okay, we'll build a database. Start putting data. How do you create a report? Oh, man, I don't know how to create a report. Let's go figure out how to do it, right? It's not like, so, and sometimes nobody in the company knew how to do it. Jesus just knew at the time, you know. Same thing with ServiceNow, right? ServiceNow, oh man, this new stuff, it's not that old. It's been around, what, 10, 15 years? That's still relatively new. And so, what was I saying? Let's see if you guys were paying attention.
We have to stay up on the latest software.
What was that?
ServiceNow is probably
She's like, what the hell was I saying? Okay, so in any case, this is kind of backwards because we're going to do ITIL first, and then Splunk, and then ServiceNow. That's how we're going to do it. And so let me try to give you some tools today to get you up and running so that on Monday, when we come here, we hit the ground running, okay? The first 2 weeks, we're going to concentrate on the material for ITIL. What is ITIL? ITIL is a framework. It's in essence a set of recommendations. A set of recommendations for how to effectively run an IT department. The ITIL framework was created by the British government, and they tinkered with it for a number of years before it became public information. Okay, but why is ITIL important? And I don't know, I feel like most of the time when we teach ITIL, people are still very vague about what ITIL is. But take this into consideration, right, that if you have a company, let's name this company ABC Inc., okay? This company has departments. It has the human resources department. It has the customer service department. It has the shipping and receiving department. It has the booking department. It has the sales department. You see how companies, any company that you go work for today, in this day and age, will have some kind of IT support. Sometimes the IT support is just one person, right? Like colleges, that's what they do. We have like 2 IT support guys for the entire college here, which is not that bad. We only had 2 technical support guys in City College of San Francisco. You know, and now we're talking, 90,000 students, right? And I don't know, 2,000 instructors. But in any case, what happens is that all of these departments need technical support. You see that? Managers, right? So maybe we have executives here, because sometimes that's a whole group in itself. But if we have an IT department here, I meant to put this in PowerPoint, but in fact, I just thought about this morning, of presenting it this way, right? So ITIL is an information technology infrastructure library. It's a set of recommendations, that dictates, or not dictates because it's non-prescriptive. That's another key word, right? ITIL is non-prescriptive. ITIL is an outline or a set of recommendations for how to effectively run an IT department. I believe that everybody should know ITIL principles. Why? Because it doesn't matter whether you go work in that company in the booking department because your background is in booking, okay? By you having an understanding of how ITIL, what the ITIL recommendations are, then you will have an understanding of how an IT department works and how they communicate with the different teams, who's responsible for what, how do we measure performance, when do we have meetings, how do we outline agreements, who are going to be the different partners that are going to provide for the organization, who's going to manage those relationships, what are the protocols for meetings, strategic meetings, how do you propose a new venture within an organization, who are the stakeholders, who are the customers, Right? Those are the kinds of things that you need to understand, and so that it doesn't matter, right? I don't know what your background is. What's your background?
I'm a biologist.
Biologist.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me more. What's your work background? It's all been in biology?
I was a researcher at CSF. I'm a biologist.
Okay, so did you ever interact with the IT department?
Yeah.
Okay, see? So by understanding, right, how the IT department works, then we have a better understanding of how the entire business works. Because today we cannot operate a business, especially a successful business, like Netflix, LinkedIn, Kaiser Permanente, without a strong IT department. You guys see that? So a lot of the ITIL concepts are logical concepts. They're not technical. I don't have any homework for you for ITIL, other than read the material, learn the language. Okay? Let me elaborate on the language here for you, but then we're going to need to be able to talk about, okay, who are the stakeholders? You know this. Who's responsible for what? At what point, if there's a problem in production, how do we address the issue? Okay, who's responsible? Who are we going to fire? Okay. So this is very important. Does this make sense? Does this sound exciting?
Yeah.
Yeah? A little bit, right? So again, it doesn't matter. It could be that you were working in human resources. So maybe you end up working at, I don't know, Singa, in the human resource department. Because now this is where things get exciting, right? Because what was our mission? What's the mission of Npower? To create pathways to careers, right? And that's exactly what we're doing by making sure that people understand the environment that they will put their feet into, right? You don't want to go into a business and not know, what did he say? Slam meeting? What's a slang meeting? What's that? Why is this guy coming over here giving me orders? He's not my boss. Well, if you don't have a good understanding of hierarchical or organizational structures, then it will be difficult to navigate. It will be difficult to understand why are those guys always in the office eating pizza every day? They don't do any work, and they get paid more money than we do. Well, that's because they're strategizing. They're working on all these other concepts, right? They're trying to plan for the future. You see how that works? They have other responsibilities. And so by understanding ITIL, then you have a better understanding of where you belong within an organization. Am I making sense? And so it's important to get this really nice and solid, because this is where programs, in this case applications. What is an application? Shoot, man, I'm already teaching. How long do I have, Pedro? Okay, I'll be done before that. Don't worry, guys. But I really want you to leave here and thinking, okay, did I make the right decision? Because if I was you, I would be like, man, am I in the right place? I'm still kind of figuring out this program, right? Hold on a second. So check it out. By understanding this, then now we can come here and say, okay, we're going to deal with these applications. And what is an application from a program or software standpoint? An application is a program that is designed to perform a specific task. What is an application? To perform a specific task. And so ServiceNow, for example, is a program that is built around the ITIL concepts. And so a lot of companies are using ServiceNow right now because everybody in the business is required to use ServiceNow to manage the information. That means that people in human resources will have to have a login name and password to ServiceNow instance in order to manage their tasks, their responsibilities, the roles, tickets, requests for approvals, things like that. When they're hiring a new individual, they need to have IT department create a new role for a new individual. You see how that works? If there's a meeting, they had a meeting with an individual because there's a performance issue, they will have to write a report, and where does that report go? Right? There it goes into ServiceNow. So ServiceNow is the database that a company utilizes to save all their information that has to do with managing services. For a company. Okay? So let's say the executives, they meet up and they make an agreement that they're gonna come up with a new product. Okay, well, those written agreements will have to be stored somewhere. Where are they gonna be stored? They're gonna be stored in ServiceNow. Okay, if the shipping and receiving department has a problem with their equipment, what are they going to do? They're going to walk all the way to the IT department? Well, the IT department may be across the bay or something. Hold on. So they will need to create a ticket, right? So ServiceNow also works as a ticketing system. They can create a ticket there, and then they can, based on the priority of the request, they will get assistance within the category of the incident or the problem or the ticket. And then, so that's just in a nutshell. Okay, basically what we're gonna do here is we learn how to navigate the software, how to create accounts, how to manage departments, how to create a new application, how to create a workflow, right? Maybe they're coming up with a new department here. I don't know what to call this department. But this department is going to need a space in ServiceNow, roles, responsibilities, right? In order for them to keep track of all the work that they do. And so what we're going to learn is how to navigate ServiceNow from an administrator perspective. So that you learn how to change the look and the feel, okay? How to add a logo to the instance, how to take information and that's been written in a different format and imported into ServiceNow so that you are federating or bringing together all the information that may be in different places. We want to have all the information in one single place. And then with Splunk, right? What is it that we're doing? What is it that Splunk does? Splunk allows you the ability to evaluate large amounts of information based on its type and based on the event. What does that mean? That means that right now we are generating lots of information. Pretty much everywhere you go, if there's a keypad like this and I enter a code, then I can open this door, yay? Okay, well, that code, that entry that I made gets stored in a computer. If I turn on a computer and I log into a server, that event gets logged into the server. Okay? If I go onto a website and I log into the intranet, that event of logging in gets recorded. And so a lot of information gets recorded. When you go to Safeway right now and you buy all kinds of stuff, when they're ringing the machine, all that information is being inputted in some computer in the back or in the cloud. But the problem, has it ever happened to you, and I'm going to start wrapping this up real quick, but has it ever happened to you that you go to your bank account and you see that there's some inconsistencies in your expenditure? Okay? Sometimes it's small amounts, $5. Sometimes it's like, man, this $20, I don't remember spending these dollars. And sometimes it's really bold, like what happened to me earlier this year. They just withdraw money from your account, $400. It's like, I didn't make that withdrawal. What happened? What do? You call your bank. If you have a good bank, they will, look at your information, refund the money temporarily, right? Or start an investigation. What do you think is going to happen? That ticket is going to be generated, is going to be given to somebody, an expert, right? Who's going to use Splunk to evaluate the date and the time and patterns of activities. What IP address that transaction came from, right? What location, what city, who the user was, what number, what card was used. Okay? The problem is that these machines are generating a lot of information, but the information is not organized. It's like it's really messy. It's all over the place. And this is where Flunk comes in, right? Because computer servers are, even your personal computer stores a lot of your activities. Most of the activities that you do, okay? And so Splunk allows you to do that, right? Allows you the ability to take this information and say, okay, let's figure out what happened. Who did this? What was the pattern of business? Right? And so is this a legitimate claim, or is this person trying to commit fraud, right? And so by evaluating the information, they can see, oh, okay, no, this person couldn't have been in Los Angeles if they were just in Alameda, right, on the same day, unless you flew over there, but then the other expenditures don't show that you travel. You see where I'm going with this? So now we're conducting an investigation, based on a claim that was made by a customer, and we're using this tool, the Splunk tool, to come up with reports and numbers. And that's just an example because, big data is being accumulated every day on a regular basis. Does this clarify a little bit some of what? Yes? Okay, hold on. Did you have a question, sir? Well, they're kind of competitors, but they're working together in some projects. I think I said Tanium. Yeah. They're off of Emerville. They're in Emerville. But they have locations in other places in the world as well. Okay, questions? Yes, question.
Would you call ITIL a form of project management?
It is. And in fact, those of you who have project management experience or have been in a learning environment where you were taught project management, there is a game of words that we're going to play, okay? Because what may mean one thing from a project management perspective means something different from an ITIL perspective. And so, listen, I've seen people really frustrated in this class because they're like, well, that's not what I learned. Well, that's not what you learn over there. This is this. We're not talking about project management. There's a big difference between project management and ITIL. What is the difference? The difference is here. I don't have that much time, otherwise I would contemplate you guys. But check it out. The difference is that a project has a beginning and it has an end. That's a project. A project has the characteristic that it has an end. Okay? It's not a project if it's an ongoing operation. Okay? So the difference between project management and the angle of ITIL is that ITIL is continuous or continual service. It's a circle, right? Meaning that, okay, let's say that we provide a service to a customer. Let's say we're AT&T or Verizon. Well, at some point we're going to have to get feedback from the customer, right? Customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction. We might need to sit down and evaluate whether that process is the right process. And so we sit down, we do an analysis of how we're doing, and then we make adjustments to the way we deliver the service. Okay, the service doesn't get discontinued unless there is an executive agreement that it needs to be discontinued. Normally it's going to be because of dollars, money, right, financials. But in any case, big difference. Framework is an ongoing, right, process, because what we do is we advocate for a process, then we get the money to do it, then we design it, then we transition that into operation. Then once we are operating, after 6 months or a year, we need to gather all the information and evaluate how we're doing in order to figure out whether we need to make changes and improve the service. That we're trying to improve the service as we move forward, because this doesn't end. It's an ongoing service. You see where I'm going with that? Right? And so, but for those of you who have I need you to put aside your project management hat, okay, and trust me that when there's a controversy in the words, and you'll know, some of you will know, okay, and I don't mind stopping for a minute and having a conversation about it, but you will know, I can't remember any one right off the top of my head, but there's a few words that mean one thing in project management, it means something else in the ITIL framework. Okay, and remember that you're preparing for the ITIL framework. Okay, and so that's where you need to train yourself to say, okay, that means that when I'm speaking in this environment, but that means this when I'm speaking in this environment. And when we get there, you'll know. Okay, we're going to talk about those words. Yes.
You had begun by indicating that we would, the first 2 weeks are in the IPO. What's after that? You mentioned it.
Right, and I actually have a course of instruction that I will give you access to. And this is one of the main objectives that I'm trying to achieve with you today, is to give you access to the material. Okay, anybody else have a question? I thought I saw a hand over there. Yes?
ITIL stand for again?
Information Technology Infrastructure Library. Yes, sir. I will when we get there. In 2 weeks, we're going to dive into Splunk, and we're going to be talking about Splunk every day for 4 weeks. Yes.
Would other programs like Cyber 8 would also kind of assist with the program as well?
What's Cyber 8? A what?
I was recommended by one of the people who work here to actually check out Cyber 8.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'm not familiar with it. But I tell you what helps. Whatever background you have in technology helps. Okay, I will try to, when we start talking about Splunk, Splunk, the Splunk curriculum assumes that you already understand some technical concepts. And so I'll take the time in the classroom to attempt to elaborate in detail into some of the technologies, because maybe I know how to use Splunk, and you don't really need to know all the technicals, right? Because if I know how to use Splunk, somebody from sales might come and say, hey, I need a report. Okay, well, that's what you're going to be doing, right? What do you need? You need sales numbers. You need, what do you need? Percentages. Whatever that person is asking you for, your job might be to just go into Splunk and pull those reports, even if you don't understand what it means. Okay, that's their job to figure out the technical terms. But it would be really nice if you actually understood the technical terms, because then you can speak more fluently with whomever is asking you for a report. Does that make sense? Because a lot of what you're going to be doing if you end up working with Splunk is just that. Looking at information, creating reports, figuring out a particular objective, pulling out percentages, right? Attaching that to a document or an email or whatever, and sending it to another department where they're going to figure out what they're going to do with that information. Might not be your job. Your job is just to pull the report. But with that said, I'm going to try to elaborate as much as possible, without going into all the details, because there's just too much technology, to deal with. There's just too much technology to deal with that I can't teach you in 6 weeks. But I'll try to give you as much information as I can, okay? Especially when we get to Splunk, because then we're dealing with IP addresses and usernames and syslogs and things like that, different types of servers. And it might be useful for you to have a clearer understanding of the roles of the servers and where they belong within the infrastructure. Okay? Questions so far? Yes?
Is there any similarity to ITIL and Agile, Scrum?
Oh, yes. It's kind of along the lines of that, right? ISO 20000, also ISO 9000. Those are, if you're familiar with those are just ways that are either recommended, and some of them are standards, by the way, on how a business should operate. Okay? But ITIL focuses more on the IT aspect of things, right? As opposed to other methodologies where it's more of a general, approach to how to run a business effectively. Yes?
Is Splunk an acronym or is that an acronym?
Splunk is a verb. Yeah, doesn't really mean anything specific, but if you are using Splunk, you're splunking. When you start learning Splunk, you become a splunker. Yeah. So it's a verb. What do you do? I'm splunking. Right. It's a verb. Yeah. So I asked that same question, and nobody could give me a good answer on that one. Okay, let's see if I can get this thing up and running. I need a technical support over here. Okay, there you go. This right here is going to be your best friend over the next 8 weeks, and maybe longer. Write this down, learn it by heart, put it on your list of favorites, speed dial, quick dial, bookmark, whatever you want to call it, okay? Because every one of you will need to log into this website. So if you go to this website now, I have some laptops over there in the very corner. If you don't have a laptop with you, and I see there's a lot of you that don't have laptops. By the way, I believe in BYOD. What is BYOD? Bring your own device, okay? Because here's what happens, right? People come here and go, oh man, that laptops you got over there, they're like not the latest and greatest. Well, then buy your own. Bring your own, that's okay. Okay, I have to say this because in our policy, it says that you're not supposed to bring your own device. Okay, but we have agreed here that you will be able to bring your own device. If you have a good laptop, you should have a good laptop anyways. This is a computer course. You should have a computer. Okay, if not, I'm going to give you information about places where you can go here in the college once the college gets up and running. But in any case, you have to go to Npower Online, and here's the deal. I created user accounts for every one of you. Actually, not every one of you, I'm lying, because I couldn't create accounts for some of you. I'm going to have to create those manually, one by one. But there's only like 2 or 3 of you that I had a problem with, because the name is a little complex, and so the system wouldn't take it. And I'll have to figure out how to get your name in there, okay? And get the system to take it so that you can log in. Okay, but here's the deal. Let's say my name is John Smith, right? So my username is John Smith. Okay? My initial password is password $1. So let me make this bigger so that you can see it. Okay. So this is what I need you to do right now. If you don't have a laptop, go over there, grab a laptop, fire it up. All those laptops should have access to the internet already. All you have to do is username. If not, then let me know and I'll.
Yes.
India.